House Congressman Barbara Lee, Democrat from California. Congresswoman Lee, signed that letter just to recuse himself if I get a report before. Congresswoman, this whole thing of her getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for basically trying to get health. I mean, I'm kidding. It's not a little conflict of interest. Can you imagine a larger conflict of interest?
Well, I have to say that as we said, 85 said in our letter, any appearance of conflict of interest merits recusal. Our Supreme Court justices must be held to the highest standard. Who has to have trust in the Supreme Court? That's the court of last resort. The Supreme Court may debate the constitutionality of health reform, and come on, we have to have the Supreme Court that's objective and one that really is looking at the constitutional issues. So any type of conflict of interest, I think, merits a recusal. And he, in our letter, or he had to sign the bench of that. Also, when the Justice Policy Board Subcommittee that I'm on the appropriation of the financial subcommittee, you can bet I'm going to ask him many questions. He probably have questions about these specific conflicts of interest. That should come before us in April. And so I think that we have an opportunity to find out more information with regard to what has been reported.
That's what I want to ask you about. What can you do about it? Let's say Justice Thomas goes, hey, and I'd like to make hundreds of thousands of dollars from this, from that, from writing health care laws, to get money from others. What are you going to do about it? What do you say?
Well, the Supreme Court justice, I think, has a responsibility and an obligation in federal law. The proceeding congressmen must be employed. The Supreme Court justices must achieve a high standard in terms of public justice. I have a public obligation, in fact, they learn more about the we have reported. And so, any one of us really stress in this one thing that would make very simple for this comment. That's just the reasons. And you look at this process, look at the repeal of health care reform, and you look at the fact that they're trying to cut, and this is part of the Republican agenda, they're trying to cut family planning. $117 million is a war on taking place here in Washington, D.C. When you look at their budget, $1 billion for community health centers, I could go on and on. When you look at what they're trying to do as it relates to health care and the huge draconian budget cuts, I think the